All right. Hi guys, how's everyone doing? Oh, not so good. Okay. You're good. That's good to know. So basically, for everyone's context here, I haven't been in this space for a while, so this will also be catching me up. But if I ask any stupid questions, please forgive me. But the panel really excites me a lot because every single panelist is from a very different angle or perspectives when it comes to decentralized IDs or identities in general. So I guess I'll start with, for every single panelist, what does your company do and what have you been doing in the past year that's related to identities, and what changes did you see in the ID landscape? And maybe we probably will introduce this little thing a little bit as well. Will, do you want to start?
Palau is a small country, 3 hours away from here. And we work with Palau to issue their e-residency. So we're the second country in the world to issue this e-residency program, where Estonia was the first country. So they launched the program in 2011, and we were 10 years later. We launched in 2021, and we're about like half of their level now. We have about like 50,000, and Estonia have about 100,000. And coupled with the Palau ID, which is a traditional physical ID, we also issue the legal DID on chain. So we launched on Ethereum with the support of Vitalik, minted the first one. And then we're also planning to issue on Solana pretty soon. And we're also kind of, recently Vitalik also published about pluralistic ID, and that's where he emphasized the importance of have multiple issuers, multiple verifiers for witnesses, and also auditors. So we're also trying to see how we can support the ecosystem with more roles and with more participants. Thanks.
Awesome. Andrew?
Okay, so hello everyone, my name is Andrew. I am the Taiwan General Manager for Tools of Humanity, and the project that we are working on is World. So probably a lot of people in this audience would have heard of World as WorldCoin. So it is a cryptocurrency that we are issuing. The company is called World, and the main product that we are doing right now is essentially proof of humanhood. So the company's co-founders is Sam Altman. So many of you might know Sam Altman from OpenAI. He is the chairman of our company. He is also the co-founder. The thesis for the company is essentially that in a world where AI will become more and more powerful, and it's not just AI, it's all sorts of things that come from that technology, we will need a solution to help to identify who is a human, especially a unique human, and who is not a human, especially if that person is an AI or a bot, or an AI controlling an AI, or an AI controlling an AI and controlling an AI. Also, all these sorts of manifestations. And the way that we do it, I'll try to explain it in the simplest way possible, is through this machine. So if you are a user, you can go online on Google Store, and App Store, iOS, download World app, and then you can find any of these locations and find an orb. What this orb is essentially, it's a very high-tech camera that takes a very quick photo of your face and your iris, uses it to create a unique iris code, and then deletes the photos and the iris code permanently from the machine and from the company after sending it back to your phone. And then with that iris code, you can identify whether or not this person is a verified and real human being. So the way that it's done is basically your iris is unique, and it's probably more unique than anything else on your body or that you may have, except for your DNA. Because two things. Fingerprints actually duplicate after we have 50 or so million people. And also, only 50% of the world population has a readable ID. So your iris is the key to identifying whether or not you are a unique human. And what this machine does is identifies that you are a unique human. And then with that, you get a world ID, which you will be able to use in your app and in many other services which we have. So that's the key. The world app, and then this machine called the Orb you will get a World ID, and after that you will get some tokens called WorldCoin, which is also issued. The entire technology is from our own blockchain called WorldChain. So that is essentially what we've been doing. And in the past year, what we've done globally is launch in many markets. So Taiwan actually only launched very, very recently. So on May 28th, a little bit more than 3 months ago, we launched in Taiwan. We started with 3 locations when we started, and by the end of next week, we should be at 30 locations. Simultaneously, globally, the US launched in May, the UK launched roughly in June, and then Singapore, Japan, and Korea have launched in 2023. Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, and Malaysia have launched this year. And roughly 30 million people have downloaded the World app. 15 million of them are verified World ID individuals. And then 8 million people use the World app on a monthly active basis. So that is essentially World. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. After the panel, very happy to have a chat. Thank you.
Just one quick follow-up question. Why is Taiwan so early on the roadmap?
So Taiwan is early for 2 things. One is the readiness of the country in terms of a lot of things, like the rule of law, the readiness of society, and also how people embrace technology. This makes Taiwan actually a market for tools of humanity to be in. And the second is, part of this law is we want to enable a streamlined launch throughout the world, which can bring the best of the company's efforts into each individual market. So if you look at the overall trend, Taiwan, US, UK, we're actually all launching these places at the same time. But at the same time, there's only a few sets of countries where we have officially launched. The vast majority of countries we have not. But Taiwan is definitely in the first tier of countries that are ready to be launched.
That's awesome. Thank you. Just a quick vote. Who here has done the scanning with this device already? Yeah? Cool. So if you're not raising your hand, you know who to find at after this panel. So let's continue with the introduction, Jane.
Hello everyone, I'm Jan. I'm the head of BD of BuzzUp, and let me briefly introduce what is BuzzUp. And actually, BuzzUp is a decentralized social wallet, and what we are focused is we want to let our user can easily access to Web3. So yeah, here are 3 core functions that we really focus on. The first one is connect. Since we are a social wallet, and for the social part, our user can sending message to their friends and building our own community on our app. And the second is the wallet, just our user can easily manage their crypto assets within our app. And the third one is the export. Actually, in our app, and here's a page which is export page, and we have listing a lot of not only our strategy partner and other, which is a very trend project. In 2 months ago, AI agent was very famous, very popular. So we have a lot of kind of project on our app, and because a lot of our users we track is from Web2. But from a lot of Web2 users, they think that Web3 is in crypto only trading. But actually, Web3 is still a lot of sector is very interesting. So we want to build an ecosystem to let our user can easily access and easily learning what sector is and what other projects have their own campaign and what the trend is. So actually, we want to build an ecosystem, an app, a product that our user can not only sending messages, social, manage their crypto, and also can learning and explore other finance, DeFi, and NFT marketplace, gaming, some interesting project within our app.
Good job, Jen. Henry?
Hello everyone, my name is Henry Lin, and I'm the founding chairman of Bitcoin and Crypto Asset Service Development Association, and we are so honored to be a partnership with Taiwan Blockchain Week for 3 years, and which is a great event that we will totally be more supported in the future. So I'm a crypto lawyer based in Taipei, Taiwan, and I must be admit that I'm not a technical expert of the ID, but thanks to Andrew bringing up this beautiful and species machine, which is world coin. We have studied several legal issues about it, and including the personal data collection and cybersecurity. So today I want to share some of the point of view of my legal standing point, and also want to introduce the foreigners that Taiwan actually have a good example about the ID case.
Got it. So next, I will have some questions for each of you, and then we can go through, and then we can see where that leads us. So the first one is for William. So I think you have a very interesting relationship with the Palau government. The government is willing to open up and collaborate with our private company on their IDs. Can you elaborate a little more on how that relationship how that came to be, how that's being evolved, and where is it going in the future?
In 2021, about October, November, the Palau delegation traveled all the way to Stanford University, and I was their host. So I bring some domain expert to have a talk with them, and the country was a little bit, this is off the record, but it was a little bit miserable, right? Like there's no flights, and tourism is like 95% of the country's economy. So like there's basically no tourists. Yearly there's about like 200,000 people traveling there and diving and everything. But during COVID there's none. There's it's just like the total economy was just shut down. So like we're trying to see, try to see like what kind of program that can exist, right? And the country is also kind of, I mean, they're not like Singapore or Hong Kong or Taiwan. They're against immigration. So they don't want foreigners to go there and reside there. So the room leave to us for innovation is just maybe like remotely. So like what we told them was like Estonia has done this already, and if you launch the e-residency, you won't attract that much criticism, because Estonia has been doing this for a decade, right? So if any other country has a problem, they would have raised that already. So, and on top of that, what you can do different than Estonia is you can also launch this ID on chain, right? So, other than the physical version, you can also do this, like what we call it, like a legal DID, and so that's what it get when it gets started, and then of course it has to go through the same procedure as US, right? Like they have the entire political system is US, so it has a Senate, it has a House. They have to went through votings, and we have to pass like 12 rounds of votings to bring the program online, and after that there of course are some issues that we face as well, because it has in the legislation not only for the identity program, right? There's affiliated eSIM. There's affiliated address services, but those are very slow, right? Like, there's like internal discussions about the program. And also recently, I think maybe a year ago, they started this FIU for this annual auditing, right? So I see that as, because previously we're already doing this like KYC AML, so like every applicant, if they apply for the e-residency, they have to be vetted first, right? But like from the FIU standpoint, like with the auditor participation, we're seeing, the program right now have also a third party to actually like to issue like an audit report, which we think, is actually a good thing, right? Like they're telling the public like what's going on, and until this year we have become like their top program, like external collaboration program, which brings like millions of revenue. So yeah, I think
You build trust throughout the process, because I'm taking note in my mind, because it's very interesting what does it take to convince a government to put their IDs on Solana? that is a question that's
Exactly. So we first launched on Ethereum, right? And then what convinced them was we brought Vitalik to the country in 2023. So, he traveled all the way there, and he minted the first legal DID, right? About Solana was, this year. It was actually this year. So they launched the Solana attestation services, and we are like one of their launch partners, and also have a few calls with our director to see Solana is also right now kind of recognized, right, in the US as well. So, but it's still it's not launched yet, right? There's still procedure to go through, but we have, compared to other country, has a large scale of autonomy.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, I want to ask Andrew some questions. So basically, what is your progress in Taiwan right now, and what is your goal? What do you see as the biggest obstacles? How do you conquer it?
So great questions. I'll try to be as comprehensive as I possibly can. So we actually just launched 3 months ago, so it's actually relatively new as a market. We're very happy that in the 3 months alone, we've actually expanded locations. We've had at least two integrations or mini apps that have grown to scale in partnership with us in Taiwan. In our coverage, this is actually true. Like our coverage of the population of Taiwan that are within 5 kilometers of an orb is roughly around 28%. And we had an event 2 weeks back. It's roughly around 23% then. Right now it's at 28%. It's actually one of the highest in the world in terms of penetration. And that obviously speaks to, the population density of Taiwan, but also our partners who have been very helpful in basically distributing the orb and then managing the orb on an everyday basis. So looking forward, I think there are a few big opportunities. One is we definitely want to make sure that the orb is convenient and accessible as possible. We are right now in Taipei, in New Taipei, in Taoyuan, and in Taichung. And pretty soon we want to be nationwide. So Kaohsiung and Tainan definitely on the list, and also other cities beyond that. The second is we are always looking for more partners, and these are partners that could be online. So online means that you can do a World ID integration with us. World ID can help your users to basically let your platform know that you are a unique human and that you're not a bot or you're not a duplicate account. And that's actually quite useful. And the other kind of partnership, obviously, is corporate partnership. So corporations who want to access the spending power of WorldCoin can collaborate with us to put their consumption use cases, like coupons, for example, or offline perks into our ecosystem, into our mini apps. And then last but not least, I want to shout out to all the developers in this room and then in general in Taiwan. We love having developers because we are also a developer ecosystem. So you can build your mini app in the World app, and there's actually quite a few in Taiwan already. And the audience for this is global, meaning that once you build for the World mini app, your audience is not just in Taiwan, it's for the 8 million or so monthly active users and the 50 million or so users of verified World IDs. So we think it's a growing opportunity for Taiwanese companies and partners in many aspects, and that's what we want to tap into. And then last but not least, I think very important is we want to continue to build trust in society. So dialogues with the government, obviously dialogues with legal experts, dialogues with different stakeholders in society. So many associations working together to build digital trust, to build the digital economy. These are all the things that we're trying to do to really get the message out about World, but also build World to be something that strengthens the social fabric, the digital fabric of Taiwan.
So one of the main goal is distribution, right? You want to get to more places, and 28% penetration is really, really high, and that's super impressive. What do you think is the main drivers to get people to actually sign up and to do the scanning? Is it still, because in the past few years it's curiosity, right? But what about now? Why is the penetration so high?
Yeah, so I want to first say that I think 28% is great. We're definitely aiming for 100%. So we want to make sure that location and inconvenience is not a factor for someone to not find an orb. And then in the World app, you can actually find all the locations in Taiwan that are live. So I just want to put it out there. We are definitely looking for more distribution. In terms of signing up for verification, I would add probably a few things. One is we're still in the early stages, so many people definitely are curious about the technology. We were recently on the cover of Time magazine. They see this orb, and they hear about Sam and OpenAI and then what we're doing, and they want to try it out, and that's great. We definitely welcome that crowd, and there's, I think, a lot of enthusiasm around that. The second is obviously that people are still interested in the ecosystem related to the role coin. So you will get a few tokens after you verify, and you can use those tokens in the app to do all sorts of things. Like there's consumption usages, and then you can also do all sorts of things within the World app itself. I think the long-term driver for not just Taiwan but globally is the use cases of Role ID and use cases of Role app. And specifically, it means two things. One is where you can use Role ID, which globally we have a few success stories like Tinder in Japan, Razer, the gaming company based out of Singapore, and then what you can do within the Role app, which is both the Role app as an app, developing its functions, and it's still changing every day, but also the sorts of things that we're building within the Role app. And I think that will drive the long-term usages of Role app, and then obviously more interest in getting a Role ID, because you can only use a lot of the functions within the Role app after you stand in front of an orb and then verify your Role ID. So that's my short answer.
Definitely, that is super interesting. I was talking to Dana off stage about the app stores you guys have. What is the biggest app on the World app store right now?
Yeah, I think off the top of my head, it's definitely the app where you can get your airdrops. Like within a period of 11 to 12 months, you can get airdrop World coin tokens. And so for some people that might be a driver. For other people, it's a nice to have. The others are invites. So not many people know, but you actually get a referral reward if you invite 10 people in Taiwan. Each person will get you roughly 1,000 to 1,200 NTD. So in total, that's maybe like 10,000 to 12,000. So that's another thing. I think 2 or 3 things I want to specifically highlight is one is an app called True Perks, which is actually developed by one of our operating partners in Taiwan. It's a Taiwanese company. In it, you can find coupons by large corporations in Taiwan, as well as locations offline, where if you go with your World ID and it's verified, you can get something like a coffee or beer or some other gift. And then the other thing I want to say is we actually are working on governance as well. So with Dr. J.C. Ko, we're actually developing Taibo, which is a platform for you to answer questions related to regulations and policy. And in it, if you verify, you can use your World ID to confirm that you are a survey answerer who is a real and unique human. And in the future, because your Taiwanese passport can now tap into your World app and be connected, you can also prove in the future that you are not just a unique human, but you are a Taiwanese unique human. And sometimes you are an over 18 Taiwanese unique human, which is probably like the best of all worlds.
That is definitely a pain point for the civil policy use cases, participation use cases in Taiwan. I want to go to Jane a little bit. So Jane, my question to you is, how do you see BuzzUp going forward? How do you position yourself? Because I know you encompass a lot of different functions. It's chats, it's wallet, and it's also identity. How do you differentiate yourself, or where do you drive people to use your app?
Okay, thanks for the question. Okay, I think let me put the additional input for our social function. Actually, last month we just launched, for social part, we just launched a new function. It's an anonymous forum. And it's something like in Taiwan, a lot of people using D-card and sharing their point of view and anonymously. And we just launched this kind of function, and also just like when you post and you get the heart, and you can get some honey points. Actually, in our app, we also have honey mechanism, and this kind of mechanism is to drive our user complete some mission and doing some engagement. And honey point in future they can maybe get some reward, and maybe it's the right to get some airdrop, something like that. So yeah, actually from now on, because we we just finished a lot of like online campaign, and we had tracked that here's a lot of user which is we're using the honey as a reward, and we have collaborated with other strategic partnership, and they have provide some like their token or their like watches or their physical rewards. So actually we have already attract a lot of user, but a lot of users based in Southeast Asia. So yeah, I think differentiate ourselves is like we have an anonymous forum, and we also have some mission and some reward that we want to attract our user to joining. Yes.
Noted. Just out of curiosity, who do you consider your biggest competitor?
I think for the wallet part, I think competition this kind of is like can drive a lot, like our product can be improved better and optimized better. So I think for wallet is like it's like a lot of like MetaMask and yeah.
Your biggest competitor. So
Yeah.
you're in the wallet space, basically.
Yeah, but actually for wallet part, we're also actually we are more focused on social part. For wallet, we're still like expanding our integration and to enrich a lot of feature like swap and stake. Yeah, to make our user can experience more function. Yeah.
Noted. Okay, I'll go to Harry next. So, Harry, I understand you have a good relationship with Taiwan's digital identity wallet project. So, what I'm trying to understand is, because as you can see, there are many ID solutions on the market, including World, including others already. How does the DIW project will interact with all these different solutions?
Yes, in my mind, I think that DID, the Decentralized Identifiers, is providing a new way of public governance. I think, Noah, you have mentioned a great question that how can we persuade a government to put all the personal data on Solana? It's a hard question. But the hardest thing is how can we persuade government to let a company or let a small group to collecting biometrical data publicly with the compliance of all kind of personal data regulations is a sensitive and hard questions. So I think Taiwan, there is a good project that can be a good example for overseas, which is a Taiwan digital identity wallet. And I think this wallet has been launched, their sandbox on this year's, I think in March and this year. And I think there are 4 features compared to WorldCoin. There are some interesting that we can share about. The first feature is that there's a decentralized storage, that all data is kept locally on user's phone, but not on some company or other groups. And not a centralized government database, and reducing the risk of the mass data preventions. And I think the second feature is that there is a DID identifiers, that every wallet had their own decentralized identifiers, and there's no real name until the user choose to be KYC or KYD, and it reduces the risk of the leakage. And the third feature I think is the offline biometrics. The user can bind their wallet to their fingerprint and facial recognition, but not on others companies groups storage. And the third part is the blockchain-based trustless. And there is some blockchain features on this wallet actually. And there is the list of the trust issuers, which has been written on the blockchain and no one can alter it. So I think this case is another DID use case that maybe can be approached to the public governments.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just thinking out loud. So basically, so maybe this will be a question also for Andrew and Jane. How do you see you interact with the DIW solution? Because in a way, it can be collaboration, it can be competitions, but both of you are IT solutions, right? But how do you guys see this kind of competitive, collaborative relationship evolve?
Yeah, so I think first of all, there's probably no competition, right? Like we're all trying to build for the public good, and so thank you, Henry, for raising these points. I do want to make a few quick clarifications so that World ID sounds like an ID, but it's actually not an ID. Okay, so this is something that needs to be understood. When you log on to World app, you actually don't need to put in your name. You don't need to put in really any personal information. your email on your phone is really used to just see if you have contacts you want to invite into World app or you want to back up your email. World ID is essentially completely private. It does not store any personal information. And when you do the verification, what happens is basically it takes pictures of your biometrics and then deletes it personally. So very, very important. The company, the org, does not store any personal information or any personal data. This is something that many people don't actually understand. But actually what's only kept is a fragment of the iris code that is then split into a few places, stored in third-party places, encrypted, so that in terms of cybersecurity, any single point, even if attacked, it does not reveal the entire code, and each fragment of code is essentially completely anonymous. It's non-commercially valuable in any sense. So in that sense, it's very different from the solutions being provided in that we don't actually use an entire personal identity to upload into any cloud. That's not the case. We also don't store any biometrics and put it anywhere in a server or in a company or in our machines. That's completely not the case. So I actually think it's a complement to many of the solutions right now because to the best of my understanding, World is the only way right now that you can do proof of humanhood for all of humanity. Right? It doesn't require your passport because not everyone has a passport. It doesn't use email or like things such as your like fingerprints or your faces, which could be duplicate or fraudulent. It is the only globally accessible proof of humanhood, and it is done in a private, anonymous, and secure way. And that's why we're actually very confident in the regulations in Taiwan that are compliant, and that's actually quite the thing that I want to say. Like we are actually a complementary to all the efforts in Taiwan. Definitely not a competition.
I love it. Jane, do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, actually for BuzzUp, we are also using the decentralized identification. Just when you register an account, we are also no need any your private information. So yeah, and also just like the message that you're sending with your friend, also encrypted. So yeah, I also think that maybe it would in that case it will not be the like a competitor.
Thank you. We don't have much time, but I do want to ask William a question to end this. So I think the question is because I think it's very interesting for DIW, for BuzzUp, it's sort of like a plural relational identity. For World, it might be not as decentralized. Would you say that? Maybe, maybe not. But for William, I think in your case, you're moving from a more centralized solution to a plural kind of identity, which is what you mentioned just now. Why did you make that decision?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. But before I answer that, I also want to add a point for the previous question. So the privacy laws, it already exists there. For European, there's a GDPR. For China, it's a CCPI. It doesn't change because there's now like Web3, and before it's a Web2. The privacy law is still there, right? So you still need to obey those. And then back to your question about the why do we move from a centralized identity solution to a decentralized identity solution, right? Because there's also news, right? Recent news about I'm actually pretty annoyed by the the CFTC, right? They recently announced that they are going to allow Americans to trade on international exchanges. So I was thinking like trading is a basic human right? The Americans, we Americans decide where we want to trade and how we deal with our own asset. Okay, it is not constitutional for CFTC to say, you can trade there. Today you can trade there, and in 4 years, probably they will ban that again, right? So what we feel is there are a lot of kind of regulations, is just not constitutional, right? So what we want to bring is to, similar to what WorkCoin is doing, to basically return the control, right, of your own identity back to your hand, right? I will give two examples, right? So first one, I think Andrew is they're also trying to solve this issue. So when you are trying to buy alcohol, right? They have to verify you're over 21, and at this time, you're required to show your ID, and it has everything on it: your name, your date of birth, your home address. The only thing they need to verify is you're over 21, right? So by using the DID solution in the future, you only need to show them one claim: over 21, true, nothing else. Okay? When you apply for a job, they see my name, right? I have on my resume, William Wang. They immediately know I'm an Asian and I'm a male. Okay? That information is not necessary for them to determine my job quality, my job qualification, right? They only need to know certain things. For example, where I graduated from, my work experience, right? My recommendation letters. They don't need to know my gender, right? My race. Like any information that's not needed is not necessary. So this is what we called minimum disclosure for constrained use. Thank you.
Selective disclosure is very important. Okay, thank you so much for your wisdom, and can we give the panelists a round of applause? Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Noah.
Thank you.